First on Connecticut's news station, we're getting reaction here at home after Iran launches hundreds of missiles at Israel, most of them intercepted, but now fears of retaliation very much lingering. The warning from Iran this morning.
And we're just hours away from the start of jury selection in Donald Trump's New York City hush money case. The charges he's facing and how jury selection will play out.
And today's the day to get your taxes filed with the IRS. What you need to know if perhaps you need a little more time.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. We're glad you're starting off your new week with us, America Arias.
And I'm Keith McGilvery, coming off a fantastic parade for the national champion Yukon Huskies. Woo-hoo. The rain held out. Meteorologist Matt Scott back from a little well-deserved time off. Hello.
I left specific instructions while I was away last week. Do not rain on any parades.
Well done.
Check.
Check and mate. Good morning to you. Happy to have you along on this Monday. Things are looking quiet. As a matter of fact, we're going to keep the good vibes going with some mild temperatures for today. Warming numbers, as a matter of fact, for the next couple of days. Do have some rain in the 7-day. We'll talk about that coming up. It is not here. Clouds, barely here as well. Very light wind out of the, we'll call it west. Southwest, but mild air taking over. Look at the numbers. 45 in Hartford, 49 in New Haven. That's not bad. Look at Bridgeport, 51 degrees out of the gate. Chester not far behind. On the way up to, is that right? Wow. Hey. Yeah, is there? 72 degrees is what we're looking for. A good dozen degrees above normal today as we look for loads of sunshine. We'll talk about the work week, see when that rain is coming back in just a moment. Rachel Piscatelli, I see you got the memo. I'm here gone for a couple days. Just make sure nothing happens on that parade. Thank you for delivering.
No, I did what I can. Specific instructions from meteorologist Matt Scott.
Right.
Yeah.
I also left a memo to have donuts waiting for me. I don't know where the heck that happened.
I'm still waiting for my scone that you were supposed to bring me, but that's all right. 6:02 right now, out on the roads. Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
Missed you. 95, 91, 84, all looking good this morning. We did have our earlier road work that has wrapped up for the morning commute. Still some areas of slowdowns on 95 over near Stonington to the Rhode Island border because of road work from exit 92 through the Rhode Island border. So just be mindful of that if you're traveling there. Otherwise, over in New Haven this morning, 95 looks good. Light volume out there. West Haven to New Haven is 4 minutes. Southbound 95, New Haven to Bridgeport, a 29-minute drive. Back to you.
Thank you, Rachel. 6:03 on a Monday morning. Israel's military weighing its options this morning for how to respond to the 300 rockets Iran fired over the weekend. Israel saying an international military coalition helped shoot them down with drones.
Yeah, the U.S., Britain, and France were part of that group. An Israeli military official called the response the beginning of a strategic alliance of opposition to Iran. The White House called Israel's defense effort a military success.
That's a terrific testament to the superiority of the Israeli military, but also to our own military superiority.
This was the first time that such a coalition worked together against the threat of Iran and its proxies in the Middle East.
President Biden met with other G7 leaders yesterday in an effort to prevent the conflict from escalating. The group condemned Iran's attack on Israel and reaffirmed its commitment to Israel's security. The U.S. says it will not participate in a counterstrike on Iran.
Our actions have been purely defensive in nature. Our goal is to de-escalate and then get back to the issue at hand, securing an end to the conflict in Gaza.
Well, meantime, officials in Iran warned Israel if it retaliates, Iran's next attack will be, quote, much larger.
The Iran-Israel conflict adding to the unrest in the Middle East and the anguish people across the world are feeling.
And Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is joining us live at the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford. Brooke, what's the message from local community leaders this morning?
Well, even though those missile strikes were confirmed to have hit rural areas and really not caused a lot of damage, the strikes have sparked a new uproar between those countries and both sides of the issue. As people say, they just don't want the war to continue. They want a ceasefire and just want peace for everyone at this point. Now, April does mark the 7th month since Hamas attacked Israel. Now the war efforts in both Gaza and Israel are escalating as Iran fired direct missiles at Israel over the weekend. This This coming as a likely retaliation effort for last week's suspected Israeli strikes on a consulate in Syria that killed 13 people. So far, no injuries or deaths have been confirmed as a result of this weekend's strikes. Local Jewish leaders say security has become a prominent topic for them as anti-Semitism increases. Now the main priority becomes keeping people safe.
And in light of this, we've been in touch with local police departments, and they're providing extra protection. So we are vigilant. There are no specific known threats. People should go about their lives within the Jewish community.
State Senator Saud Anwar says he is a Muslim from Pakistan, but in the end, he just wants peace between these countries. He tells us this weekend's missile strikes were disheartening, as he hopes a solution can be found.
People are grieving, and I think in order to honor the people who have passed away or the ones who are suffering, whether they are the hostages or the people who have died in Gaza, the thousands of children and adults, this is a time for us to do everything in our power to work towards a long-term solution to address this.
And the National Council on American Islamic Relations said in a Facebook post over the weekend that they believe these strikes are just a way to distract from the humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza right now. They say that they will continue to push for the United States government to call for a ceasefire, and will keep doing that as long as it takes. Live in West Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks so much for the update there in West Hartford. Meantime, another big story that we're watching closely this morning, jury selection set to begin in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan. Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors say this was part of an effort to keep stories about his sex life from getting out in public during the 2016 campaign. Trump's pleaded not guilty. He said prosecutors filed the case to try to derail his run for president this year. The trial is expected to last about 6 weeks, and if Trump is convicted, he could spend up to 4 years behind bars. Now, as for jury selection, prosecutors and defense lawyers will choose 12 jurors and 6 alternates. All potential jurors will answer 42 questions. Lawyers cannot ask about voting history, political contributions, or political party registration. The goal, of course, is to get people who will set aside their opinions and the political landscape to decide whether Trump broke the law. Thousands of runners lacing up their shoes this morning to compete in the 128th Boston Marathon. According to the marathon's registration website, 329 people from Connecticut are in the field. Today's race marks 100 years since the start line was moved from Ashland to Hopkinton to align with a new international standard of 26.2 miles.
All right, good luck. If you know a runner, send us their names and their bib number.
Great day
We'll keep
for
a
it.
lookout for sure. State police saying a driver responsible for a deadly hit and run in Hebron in February now in custody. Police saying 29-year-old Jesse Scrivano crashed his vehicle into another driver at the intersection of Millstream and Kinney Roads. The other driver, 65-year-old Karen Taylor, was ejected. She died at the scene. Troopers saying Scrivano abandoned his truck and then fled on foot. A man is dead after getting hit by a vehicle on the westbound side of I-84 in Hartford. This happening around 8 o'clock Saturday night, just before exit 48. Police saying 32-year-old Rafael Rodriguez walking along the highway at the time. He died at the hospital. The driver also went to the hospital for minor injuries. State police saying they do not know why the man was walking on the interstate. A rollover crash slowing traffic on I-84 in West Hartford yesterday morning. This happened on the westbound side of the highway between exits 41 and 40. Crews closed the right center lane for several hours. No word on the condition of the driver or what caused that crash.
Happening today, lawmakers and health advocates will gather in Hartford to announce federal legislation aimed at reducing the number of youth suicides. Senator Richard Blumenthal is co-sponsoring a bill to put billions of dollars towards suicide prevention and awareness efforts. He says the resources are necessary, especially in the wake of a report from the Connecticut Office of the Child Advocate. That report shows the age of children dying by suicide is getting younger. Hamden leaders are going to celebrate receiving nearly $1 million in federal funding for communications upgrades for its police department. We're told the town will use the money to buy new radio equipment. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro is going to be part of today's announcement. It's happening at Town Hall. It is April 15th, and that means it is the deadline for most of you to file your state and federal income taxes. If you live in New London County or own a business there, you have an additional 2 months to file taxes. That's because the government approved an extension to help those who dealt with flooding earlier this year. Now, if you need more time to file, you do have to file an extension by the end of today. If approved, you'll have until October 15th to submit your 2023 return. But remember, any money that you owe the government is still due today. It's tax day. To avoid paying fees and interest, you should estimate what you owe and pay that amount right away.